congratulations. This is part two of our little series that we're going to have. Well, it's probably actually going to be probably kind of big. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys a small little preview on some of the basic stuff for how to make our character run versus walking. Now, in the past, we've done different scripts and, we've done some finite state stuff for it. But we always had duplicate of code, and, well, it's okay, I guess. It gets the job done, but I like something a little bit more cleaner. Now, because that's just the way that I am, or whatnot, or maybe not, I will actually be just making a small little class like this. Now, you're going to look at this, you're like, running player, okay? It sounds just like it is. You got walking, then you got running. That's it. That's all. Doesn't do anything else. Completely that way. So, yeah, it'll be cool. And we are inheriting from basic player. Now, we have these two little floats here, walking, which is a float, and running. Now, in our start menu, we're overriding, but we're actually calling the base. So it's just like calling the base what we're inheriting from and doing the base start. So it's kind of like calling both. Okay? Now we have speed equals adjust speed, and we do false. Okay? Well, adjust speed, let's close this, is just a simple float that returns, and we use a bool to adjust speeds. Okay? And we do it if get speed, which is the bool, equals true, then we just return the run speed. If it's false, then we just return the walk speed. Simple as pie. Very, very easy. We do not have this public because I felt the speed adjustment should only be ran from this particular class. Okay, I don't think you should be able to inherit from this class in this fashion. Okay, so this will probably be the only class that's like this for run. But if you think about it, a lot of your basic players, you have running and walking. That's it. I mean, nothing else. I mean, heck, I wouldn't mind that. That's kind of cool. But if you also realize it as well, if you have a crouch, okay, you're going to have to slow down the player even more, or whatever. But you can make a completely different controller that would probably best suit that need. So if I were to write another script for it, I would go from the actual slot class, which is the complete parent class, which is a mono behavior, and then work my way from this class to the next one. Okay, it'll never probably inherit from another class, or another class will probably never inherit from this. But anyway, now we have the update, okay, which is really simple. It's nothing too harsh. We needed to add speed, but we needed a button for this. So this class right here is the only one that has the button functionality in it. We call the base.update, okay, which, let's take a look at this. When we call base.start, it's going into our basic player, and it's calling this start functionality, okay, which nothing in it besides another base.start, which is going to our slot players, which this is empty, okay. So every time you got this base.start, it calls what you're inheriting from, okay. Very simple to work with, and you see that we have these variables in this class, but in our running class all we have is these two, which is fine. When we go into Unity and look, we have all the variables from the basic class and the running class and the slot, okay. And that's the beauty about inheritance in a way, okay, in a nutshell, okay. So we've got the start function, and we call base.update. So in our, well, this is the one that I wanted to go to. Okay, running, we're calling the update, which in turn calls this. And this is what moves our player around, all this stuff. Okay, which is fine. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. Okay, which is really great because we can use the basic player, or we can use the other type, which has the running functionality. Okay, so our heavy guy can be really, really slow, you know, walking around and everything, just fine and dandy. And then we can go into a different character in our game, and we can reuse our basic one and just adjust it, because that's basically what this is doing. It's just adjusting the speed variable for our basic walking. Okay, the speed variable is 0.6, okay, from the start. And yeah, that's inheritance in a nutshell. So I don't have all this duplicate code running around here, which is really nice, because this is basically the only code that I had to write to get my character to start running. Bam, done, in a nutshell. You can write this code in, what, maybe 5 minutes, if that. So if I wanted to make something that would make a player dash, then okay, well, a player dash, alright, well, he's probably going to have ray cast and other stuff, you know, ray, do transform.forward with a ray cast, let's say 2 meters or something like that, or 2 inches on your screen, or, you know, 2 cubes. Basically, I would say going from here to, let's say, there. I would shoot a ray out. If it hits nothing, then we tell it go transform.forward plus blah. And there you go. And he instantly teleports there. It doesn't have to worry about speed or nothing. There you are. Bang. And the only way that I could do that is put input get key down and put functionality on. But if I were to do it probably just for that feature right there, I would probably do it in this script. No, actually not. I would probably write another script and inherit from running player and put the input key, and that's it. That would be it. And everything would work just fine. You'd have your running and everything. You would just add one more feature to it as the input and the function to go forward, and that's it. I mean, it would be very simple to do. I just don't want to actually write something like that and then give you like bad code or something. That would be really not cool. But I've already tested this. It works great. It works fine. Now, the other thing for light gunnery and stuff, I'm working on it currently right now. But, oh, and heavy guns, okay? I am actually, oh, for the heavy controller for weapons, all I did was create a class and do this. That way I can get a name, and if I need one special case, as in let's say base dot speed key, and then we've got so OT player. But actually I could probably just call it directly since I have the functionality for it. Yeah, I could probably call it directly like this. Call the start heavygp.start. Would I really want start like that? Yeah, it'll be fine. But we would just, do stuff. I mean, it's not that hard to predict that you would. Yeah, I just wanted this kind of script for the heavy gun because, well, I could put the basic player on there, but the basic player, I'm going to be making abstract. And the reason why I'm doing this in this type of way is simple. When I go into Unity, the basic player, I don't want anyone to be able to attach this to a script. Basically, the goal of this tutorial on things is to make one script that you would override or use the function from it. Basically, think of it like this. You have vector 3, right? And then you'll go equals new, and then you have vector 3, and these are all functions for it. You'll have float, and then you have instantiate, and then you've got your overloads for it of site. These are classes that I consider to be libraries, okay? They are designed to be helpers for you. So in the real sense, I want you to be able to inherit from something and get more functionality to make it quicker for you to make some kind of custom character. So you can attach your own functions to a class. You want a basic controller. Well, if you wanted a basic player controller, okay, we'll call it player walker. Okay? Player walker will have one specific function in it. Instead of writing all that gosh that you always do, we would just go, because it's an abstract class, we can inherit from it, and it's made to be overwritten. I can get rid of this, go public override start, it calls base.start, and public override on update. And as we were explaining, and I can save this, make sure, okay, and as I was explaining, when you call the base.start and you're inheriting from it like this, you call this start that's in the basic player, okay, and you're calling it. Think of it like this. You're going, hey, this is a child of it. But in our parent class, we're calling the start method. So, parent class, base.start, okay, that seems reasonable. And then it calls nothing here. You call this one because you go base.start, but this is empty, so it's no longer calling anything more. It goes up the chain of parent. I hope that makes sense. So now we have this player walker, and that's all he does. He walks the player. And it does exactly the same thing as the basic one. So by making this abstract and doing all our functions that we need here in this abstract class, which is a virtual function by definition, we will just flat out do exactly what needs to be done. So in our player walker class, bam, basic walking class right there. If you wanted to go into the running class and add function, you already have the functionality for running. So you go run class, bam. Now you want to add some other stuff. Well, that's fine. You can go and just make a void do something, and then just start adding your logic in there. Okay, like do something. Well, what do I need to do? In the update, we need to check inputs. Well, go up here and just put your input in here. Okay, input, call this void here with input or other types of logic needed. Okay, and you'll go in here and this is the function you want to call. You do this, blah. There you go. It's not that difficult. So we'll do all this update stuff, in our parent class, which is our running class. It'll do it, and then it'll call these functions. They'll all exist at the same time. It's not that big of a deal, but because we're using override methods and stuff like that. We can jump around a little bit. It's a little bit easier to work with. And there's sed functions. I mean, it's actually really easy to do. And it works just the same. Running heavy. Okay, and a light gunner had running. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's really nice. I mean, some people might not like it that in that design, but well, you'll have that. Takes a little bit of getting used to doing something like that, but if you have the patience to use inheritance, it can be a powerful tool, as can interfaces. Now we will get into some interfacing with certain aspects later on in the video series, but I thought this would be a great example of why you can use inheritance to extend what you already have or make your code more workable, as in just flat out better to work with. Like you can have a firing function, okay, that you call fire in one of your weapons, or here's your do something, and your base class can all have all that ray casting stuff in it and things, which I believe in our weapon class, instead of doing a mono behavior, I probably will have some type of ray casting class or projectile class. I haven't decided yet on how I want to do some of the weapon logic. I may have a kind of a more flexible thing using events pretty shortly, because I feel that we may be able to mix a single class to do either rigid body bullets or raycast. Using events, we can probably achieve that, but that's more of an experiment. And when we get to the weapon classes, it's going to take a little bit of time to understand how it's going to work, but I am working on it. So I want you guys to take care and be easy, and don't get yourself into too much of a headache trying to understand this. It's going to take time and patience, but if you start small with inheritance and start working around it, as in you start to look at it and work with it more and more, you can find that it can replace a lot of duplicate code. And that's I think the most powerful feature of inheritance. If you're duplicating code, you probably need some type of utility class or just a class that does that specific function, because there's no sense in you writing the same code several times. It's complete utter nonsense. Like I said, I will probably have a single ray casting class for these said functions that's going to need ray casting. I'm probably going to have instead of the basic class, I'll probably have let's see if we can find those scripts right off the bat. No. Oh. Like, let's see, where is it? Sniper rifle. Okay, sniper rifle would be a very good example. This is an abstract class that's made to be overwritten and stuff. You know, I would consider it probably some form of library class, but if you really think about it, we can go down here, public virtual void, okay, and we do nothing with this right off the bat, okay. Okay, this is part of our base class on our sniper rifle. Well, let's say we need a raycast, okay? That's our function right there for raycast. Okay? This is built into our basic thing. So any class that inherits from this, we can call this raycast function, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, in our sniper class, we can have, where's 308? That would be a prime example of doing that. 308, rifle 308. Okay, here we go. Now this doesn't have our basic overrides on it. Well, public override raycast. Now this is calling the base. So anytime we have something that comes from the sniper rifle class, we can call the base to do something, okay? It will do its basic functionality on our parent class. So if it wants the raycast and it to do damage, then it's going to do it, okay? The functions are there in our parent, so they're accessible through here. Or we can just overwrite them entirely here. Not that big of a deal. But let's say we want to replace this functionality. Well, instead of calling the parent class, you know, our sniper rifle class here, we do not have to have this here. We can actually completely override the raycasting functionality here and put a rigid body rig and do a projectile paint. I mean, it doesn't make sense to initially, you know, override it and put a rigid body there because it says raycast, but you don't have to use that naming convention. You can do a fire type or whatnot. Now, my idea for the weapon itself is to use Unity events. In the button class and everything else, and you hook up buttons, you are actually working with a Unity event. You put a game object in there, and then the game object gives you a whole bunch of functions that you can call. You can actually use that to select probably what type you want. As in, you put this game object in there, and it will come up with script, and it will come up with public functions that you can call. That could be projectile or raycast, and that would work just fine, or a combination of both. Let's say we have bullets, and then all of a sudden we need to shoot a grenade. Well, that works too. That's awesome. You know, because hey, who doesn't like a grenade launcher? I do. I like to blow stuff up. But I think that is enough information for now. So I hope you guys like the explanation and the video. If not, then it's cool. Dislike buttons there, and, comments and all that stuff. But hey, it is what it is. But take care, guys, and like, hit subscribe, share. If this helps you understand inheritance a little more and what the project is going to look like in the future, then awesome. But I'm over and out. Peace and good night.